He's a candidate for Congress. He's hoping you will find him on the general election ballot in his bid to go to the United States House of Representatives. To do so, he's got to unseat the first-time Congresswoman, Hillary Scholten, the Democrat from Grand Rapids. Thank you for being here, Mr. Hudson. Welcome back to the airwaves.
Well, good morning, Mike and Patrick. Great to be on the show with you again. Hope you're having a great morning on this beautiful August morning.
Well, thank you. Hillary Scholten, as I read in MERS News, was the first congressional Democrat to call for President Biden to suspend his run for re-election. She jumped in early on that, and that decision's looking pretty good right now, you must admit.
Well, I'll say this. Hillary Scholten is a good politician, and I think she saw the writing on the wall that with that at the top of the ticket, she was going to have a very hard time winning re-election. But we're focused on presenting a different vision for West Michigan. I think we've seen Hillary Scholten talk a good game. The problem is that then her record doesn't match up with the rhetoric. So we're bringing a different version of politics to West Michigan, focused on sort of common ground and common sense issues.
Were you surprised a Democrat was elected to that seat in the first place in West Michigan? I mean, I know we have the mayor, obviously, a very strong Democrat, but that was the Gerald Ford seat, wasn't it?
This is Gerald Ford's seat, and that still means something around here. This is a seat that's been in Republican hands for all but 2 years of the past century, literally. So I think what that reflects isn't that this is sort of a hyper-partisan district. I think it reflects that this district is always looking for that common sense candidate who is looking to get things done, sort of in that Gerald Ford mold, if you will.
That was 50 years ago that Gerald Ford ascended to the presidency. Let's see. Duffy Daugherty was still... No, I think he had just finished coaching Michigan State, and you have quite a connection to that famed football coach at the Spartans.
Well, I do, and this might interest some of your Spartan listeners, but Duffy Daugherty was my grandfather. He was the head football coach at Michigan State from 54 to 72. I think he's a true hero. He fought for our country in World War II in the jungles of New Guinea. He won the Bronze Star, enlisted as a private, worked his way all the way up to major, then came back to Michigan and led the Spartans to 2 national championships. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. But I think even more importantly, he did it the right way. He was a pioneer in racially integrating college football, holding the first truly integrated teams in college football anywhere in the nation. And so that's a story that we're tremendously proud of. I think it's a story we can all be proud of as Michiganders. But you mentioned 2 people there in Gerald Ford and Duffy Daugherty. Those are the true leaders who stepped up when their time was called, and I think that's what we're missing here. The real sense I get from people is that they're sort of looking at our government and the people who are running it and saying, is this really the best we can do?
Your father worked for Chrysler. You grew up in Detroit, as I understand it. Your mother worked nights as a doctor in the emergency room. And back when I was in Detroit, I worked for a guy called J.P. McCarthy, who would have met Duffy Daugherty and Gerald Ford, for that matter. And then you went on to Georgetown. Very impressive resume. And then into the legal system. And here we are now. You are seeking to go to the United States House of Representatives.
Well, I remember listening to J.P. McCarthy growing up, and listening to you as well on that show. But politics has changed a lot. My sense of things, though, is that people haven't changed as much as sort of cable news and social media like to pretend. And people are still looking for representatives who are going to go in there and get things done. And that's the frustration that I sense on the ground here. And it's certainly the frustration that I hear around the district about our current representative in Congress. She ran a whole campaign on, being bipartisan and moderate and working across the aisle. But then she got to Congress and she votes party line 96% of the time. That's not just, you'd expect her to be one of the most bipartisan members, but it's, that's a very left-wing record. That's not what people expected when when they voted her into office, and from issues from immigration. She voted against every border security bill that's reached the floor of Congress. She's promised to be a fiscal conservative, and we haven't seen any sign of that whatsoever. Sort of has supported every $1 trillion spending package there is, which has led to runaway inflation and cost of living being out of control here in West Michigan and throughout Michigan. So that's sort of the consistent pattern. That's the frustration that we're seeing from folks about the Hillary Skolden.
This campaign is a marathon, although open voting is coming very soon. Is it easier to run for Congress than it is for the Michigan Supreme Court?
Well, I'll say this. It's been an honor to do both. And you mentioned I ran for the Michigan Supreme Court last time around. The same motivation led me to that race as this race. We need good people to step up and run for office and serve the people for the right reasons. And it's an honor to run for Congress. It's not an easy thing to do. My fear is that politics has gotten so nasty that good people are not stepping up to do it anymore. And good professionals, good smart problem solvers that in past generations would feel a duty to do it are staying away just because it's gotten so nasty. And then we're left with just to be blunt, not the people that we want running the greatest nation in the world. So it's an honor for me to do it, and I look forward to making the case to the voters this fall.
Are you still out running? I understand you've done a bunch of marathons.
Well, breaking news: I rolled an ankle a couple of weeks ago, so been a little bit hobbled. I was limping through a parade here a couple of weeks ago, but on the mend, and I look forward to getting back out on the trail soon.
Have you run Boston?
Have not run Boston. I've run Detroit. I've run Grand Rapids. I've done a couple of tough mudders and triathlons and all of that. I enjoy it. It's good for the soul. It's good thinking time.
Running for Congress might be the toughest mutter of all when it comes down to it. We'll see.
You said it.
Understand you coach your son's baseball team, too, sort of in the Duffy Dougherty tradition, I guess.
Well, that's right. I played baseball in college. I was a light hitting catcher, but enjoy the game, and it's been a joy to teach the game to the next generation. My son's a good little player on a really nice team, and we have a blast doing it. It's a good way for us to bond and spend a little bit of time off the campaign trail is always healthy too, and sort of being reminded that people are still people and care about all the same things that we've always cared about, and it's the real world is not cable news and social media.
Amen to that. Wow. Very inspiring interview, Paul Hudson. Thank you so much. Member for Congress in West Michigan. If you're in the Grand Rapids area, he's the Republican running in the 3rd, the Gerald Ford seat, against sitting Congresswoman Hillary Skolden. Thank you.